Good morning. We are here with Anita Nel. She is the Chief Director of Innovation and Business Development at the University of Stellenbosch. Good morning, Anita.
Good morning.
Anita, thank you for making time to speak to us. One of the reasons I want to talk to you is because you're obviously responsible for the technology transfer within the university, which means you deal quite a bit with generating or helping spin-offs from within the IP that's generated in the university, because a lot of IP that's generated in the university lies on a shelf somewhere and gathers dust. Could you maybe explain to us the purpose of InnovUS and then give us some examples of how this has worked?
Okay, yes. Firstly, I think I have one of the more exciting jobs in the university. I noticed yesterday when I looked through all the interviews you have done that you speak mostly to engineers. So I'm not an engineer, but I work very, very closely with the engineers, and especially the E&E department at engineering, because if I look at the number of companies we have started, you are such a great source of innovation and the feeder for us, for companies. So let's start off with what we do. Yes, research, and a lot more than just research, lead naturally to inventions or the creation of intellectual property. Now, our purpose at the university is to help you to not only identify intellectual property, but also to help you develop it further towards a commercial product, for example, because by the time you invent it, it's often just a very rough thing that's glued together with a few wires sticking out. But with the assistance of InnovUS, we can help you to apply for funding to develop this further into a proper and nice looking prototype. It's in itself quite an interesting and nice process. We also help you to protect it. Patents are very expensive, but the university will assist you in patenting your idea. And then if we make money off that, we will share that very, very generously with you. One of the ways we commercialize it is by either licensing your patent to a company that then uses it and give us a royalty, or my more preferred and interesting model is to set up a new company. So we see a lot of professors like yourself who set up companies, but they don't necessarily leave the university and leave their teaching and research job to go and do that. But they often put their students in these companies. And the students then are trained by us in business principles and supported by us. And we even have a fund available in South Africa that InnovUS was very, very instrumental in setting up last year, which is called the University Technology Fund. This fund is solely there to invest in your inventions at universities and to set up companies to make a success of it.
That's fantastic. I've observed a trend. I don't know if you agree, if you've seen the same thing, but I've observed a trend that many of the engineers entering academia has a set purpose to, in the end, become entrepreneurs and to set up their own companies. I think the penny has dropped that is really the way forward in this country, also to get the economy going. Have you seen something similar, at least in the growth in the number of companies?
Absolutely. In fact, when I was at university, I had a big argument with my physics professor, and I said to him, "You are training us to receive salaries. You are not training us to pay salaries." And I think that is the one thing that we see more and more, especially with the younger generation, is they come in and they don't just want to go into a job and receive a salary. They want to become entrepreneurs. They want to appoint people, not be appointed. And that makes me very excited. And if I look at the timeline of the companies that we have formed over the past 20 years, we have started quite a large number of companies. But last year, despite the fact that our entire team was in lockdown with all the researchers at the university and not a soul on campus basically, we managed to start 5 new technology companies for the university. We facilitated funding for 7 of our companies. And that is for me indicative of the excitement there is, this new wave of I am an engineer, but how can I apply it to make things better, to make things bigger, and to grow the economy in a very special way. Every one of our companies employ people. We have more than 300 staff members across our companies. And if I look at the engineering faculty, then I am excited to see how many companies come from that. But not only emanating purely from engineering, but cases where we find someone in biochemistry or physiology has an invention, but works with the engineers in electronic engineering, for example, to build a sensor to measure something biologically. And together, they form a multidisciplinary team. And in those companies and on those patents, we have inventors from both engineering and then any other, medical faculty or science faculty and so on. So that is very exciting.
The next thing I want to check with you, Anita, or at least I want to tell you real quick, is I think you guys are obviously leaders in South Africa, and I think I'm right to say that you're by far leading in terms of the number of patents registered by any university in the country. And I vaguely recall back in 2015 overhearing someone from Oxford mentioning InnovUS as a leading agency worldwide, not even in South Africa. Could you give us some statistics on that?
Well, over the past 10 years, we have generated more than 127 PCT patents. Now, a PCT patent is indicative of an invention. So I can patent in South Africa, and I can patent in the States, and I can patent in the UK, and then I've got 3 patents. But it's the same patent, just in other areas. So we use the PCT, which comes prior to your national registrations as an indication. So that made us by far the leading entity in the entire South Africa in terms of generating new patents over the past decade. And that, second is UCT, and then even CSIR followed after us. So Stellenbosch University is thus officially the most innovative place in Africa.
Fantastic. As a final thought, maybe could you give us some examples of companies that have spun out of electrical and electronic engineering?
Yes. CubeSpace is an example of a company that spun out, they build control systems for nanosatellites. Very exciting. They have more than 100 clients abroad. I think, we may not even mention who their clients are, but very, very well-known companies. They've also launched their own satellite not so long ago. Then BioCode is a company that is aimed at preventing becoming seriously ill. So that is a company where a team of physiologists worked with engineering, electronic engineers to develop a sensor to very early on determine whether there is disease developing into something far more serious. Bridget, which you will know, is a company that uses an Internet of Things platform, and their first products are in terms of water metering, electricity metering, control of your hot water cylinder, etc. Custos is a company that uses a blockchain platform, the underlying technology there, to determine who uploaded copyrighted material like movies, for example, illegally onto the internet. They are not as such interested in the downloaders, but they want to stop it at the source, which is that first person who put it illegally onto the internet. Sun Magnetics is another company working in the fast computing space. So these are just 5 examples of recent companies that all have ties with electronic engineering.
Yeah, it's amazing to think all these companies come out of 2 passages in the same building. I forgot about something actually. We should have talked about the launch lab as well. I understand there's an ecosystem from which companies can launch. Could you just say one or two things about that as well, please?
Yes, when we started spinning out all these companies, we realized that it would be really nice if we can uplift the entire community of entrepreneurs in the Western Cape. So in about 2015, we have set up the Launch Lab as a business incubator that gives our companies a very good early start in life. But we did not limit it only to university companies. Any student with an idea that's not linked to the university can also be serviced there, as well as any entrepreneur from outside the university. And the Launch Lab has also been described by the previous head of tech transfer in Oxford University as a world-class incubator that any university in the world will be proud to have on their campus.
Fantastic. That's very, very well done, and congratulations for setting up this whole thing. I know it took a lot of work and many years in blood, sweat and tears to get us there. So thank you very much, Anita, for your time. That was very insightful, and we look forward to future progress on this topic. Thanks very much.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Bye-bye, Tinus.